So you want to have an Airbnb in Sarasota. Hi, this is Beth Helvey with Control Real Estate. Let's get started. So you've seen it online. You've probably seen it on HGTV. Everybody wants to own an Airbnb. That's like the latest craze right now in investment properties. And there's a good reason for this. A lot of people who buy here are buying second home properties. Either they intend to retire here and want to have that property ready for them, or they come as snowbirds, or they come as vacationers, things like that, and they're not operating or not living the property on a permanent basis, and they want to offset those costs. A lot of people like that will throw the home into a rental program, whether it is a monthly or quarterly program or an Airbnb, to help pay for the costs. And then there's a lot of people right now who are getting into the Airbnb business. They're increasing their property portfolio and of course looking to have a bit of a side income or even possibly get into this as a full-time work. So what do you need to know? Technically speaking, in Sarasota County, the minimum rental you are allowed to have is 30 days. With exceptions, of course. Now, within Sarasota city limits, you can have a shorter time frame. You can also have a shorter time frame within the city of Northport. They do allow shorter time frames. And our barrier islands, Siesta Key, Minnesota Key, and Casey Key also allow for them. And as a matter of fact, in the biz, we call them condo tells. People will buy a condo and there is management on site and they rent them out like a hotel. And we actually have a category for that. Now, Lido and Longboat are not part of this. As a matter of fact, most of the rentals on Lido and Longboat are for a minimum of 3 months, and they set that up on purpose, but that's another video. So what are you going to do about this? The other thing you have to be aware of is wherever you're buying the property, if you have a homeowners association or a condo association that has a different set of rules. In other words, you are in an area which allows a monthly rental, but your homeowners association or condo association says a 3-month minimum, the condo or HOA will supersede what the county's rules are. So that's another thing that you've got to keep in mind while you're looking for a potential property to have as an Airbnb. There's also a couple other loopholes, of course. If you live on the property, you can rent out a room as an Airbnb. If you have an auxiliary property, a year or so ago, Sarasota County allowed residents to build auxiliary properties, which are things like granny pods or apartments above the garage and things like that. Of course, you've got to be within a certain set of rules, and that's another video. But if you do have that, you are allowed to rent that out on a short-term basis. And the reason they did this was partly coming out of the pandemic. They wanted to give people an opportunity to kind of earn some money because a lot of people weren't working regularly. And they did it this way to keep corporations from gobbling up our properties and renting them out. So in order to be able to do this, you've got to live on the property. The other way that you can get around that, if you will, is if you live on one side of a duplex, triplex, or quad, and you live on one of those sides, you can rent out the other units on an Airbnb basis. So those are within the laws. But Beth, you say, listen, I was just there in Sarasota and I rented an Airbnb for 5 days. I'm sure you did. I've been on Airbnb and VRBO. I know that they're doing this. So the thing is, the county isn't necessarily getting online and trolling these sites and all of these hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Airbnbs and doing the investigative work to find out where they are, what the rules are, what is their rental cycle. They're not really doing it. And they might one day, but they're not doing it right now. The way you're going to get caught, if you do get caught, is your neighbors. So if you're renting out to people who are trashing the place, having really loud, obnoxious parties, parking in the yards, parking where they're blocking people from getting to their mailbox, putting out their trash cans, blocking them from getting to their driveway, your neighbors are going to get sick of it and they will report you. I promise this. I've seen this in the tax records myself. So if you're going to do this, if you're going to own an Airbnb where by the county rules, your minimum rental period is 30 days, and you're going to try the weekly rental, you need to be vigilant. You need to make sure that the people that you're putting in there are respectful and that they're not going to annoy your neighbors and get you reported, because if you do get reported, then you are going to pay a fine. And if you get reported a second time or a third time, they're going to shut you down. I promise this. You will get shut down on top of all of your fines. So be vigilant. Try to stay within the rules of the county. That's your best bet for doing it. And if you do decide to veer outside of those rules, be vigilant and understand that what you're doing is you're going against the county policy and you're taking that risk upon yourself. And I'm not advocating for that. I'm just telling you that this is what I've seen in the county. If you do decide that you're going to rent out through Airbnb or VRBO, one of the benefits of that is they take care of your taxes for you. The way they set up their rentals through their company is you don't have to worry about having a take care of your taxes yourself. You don't have to worry about filing them yourself with the county. You don't have to worry about making sure that all that stuff is up to date. That's all part of the package with renting with Airbnb and VRBO or with hiring a local rental company. They'll take care of that for you as well. However, if you decide that you are going to run this Airbnb or VRBO on your own and you're going to advertise it yourself, however you advertise it, you will need to make sure that you're tracking your taxes because you will owe taxes to the county or the city because you have an income producing property. So there's other laws for that. We can get into that another time, but those are the main differences. Now, with Airbnb and VRBO, yes, you're paying a fee. I think it's like anywhere from 8 to 10%, but those services and fees are wrapped up into it, including, taking the deposits, checking on the availability and the credit and whatnot of your potential renters. So you don't need to worry about doing that. And for a lot of people who are just dipping their toe into this business, that's probably a really, really good way to start while you learn the business of being a landlord and renting out your property. So that is something I would advise, that you go with Airbnb, VRBO, or you hire a local rental agent to kind of help start you with it. And then as you get your feet under you, if you want to venture out on your own, you've learned some really, really good lessons by doing this. So this is Beth Helvey with Couture Real Estate. I hope you enjoyed this little lesson on Airbnbs. As a matter of fact, I'm working with a handful of people right now, and we're trying to find them some. If you have any questions on this, please let me know, and I can point you in the direction of what the local laws are, and you can read up on them yourselves or speak to somebody at the county. So I hope you're having a great day today. If you have the opportunity to get out and enjoy some sunshine, I encourage you to do so. Wear your sunscreen, drink a lot of water, and we'll talk to you later. Bye, everybody.